Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Ramos Lemasters of Care Partners Resource, and I'm coming to you this morning to talk in greater detail about the techniques we used last week in our CAREthartic Conversations. These are conversations that I will be doing every month thanks to the financial support and sponsoring of Colorado Respite Coalition, which is a program of Easter seals. So every month we will be coming to you via Zoom, having a class, a discussion, and talking about different self-care techniques. This month in particular, we started with mindfulness and what exactly that is and how to practice it while caring for a loved one and why practice it while caring for a loved one. The biggest example or the best example that I can give is being in a moment of stress or anxiety when your loved one perhaps is not cooperating with you during a day when you have a lot of things scheduled, or you're trying to get them dressed or get to an appointment and your loved one isn't exactly cooperating. I know I had that many times with my mom. She might have been rather tired that day or wasn't feeling going out in the cold even though we had a doctor's appointment. And so sometimes I would get wrapped up in the moment and get a little frustrated or short with my mom, rather than practicing a little mindfulness where I take a minute, I stop, do some breathing exercises or something so that I recognize that I'm being more in the moment and more conscious of how I'm interacting in that situation. So the first technique that we used was meditation. Meditation is probably the biggest thing that people think about when they think of mindfulness. And it's not always an easy thing to practice. So we went over a quick breathing exercise that you can do that's meditative. So when you are in a stressful situation, you just stop and take a moment and breathe. One good exercise is take 5 breaths in through your nose. You want to hold that for a count of 5, and let it out for a count of 5. And you can do that 3 to 5 times. It helps you calm the situation. It helps you to think what's going on, and it helps you to not simply react in the moment. But when you're a little calmer, you're able to maybe discuss with your loved one what's going on or interact with them in a more positive way. Now, meditation is something that really does require practice. That's why it's called a practice. And I found that it wasn't something I could do on my own. So I went to YouTube and found some different free YouTube tech people who were walking you through the practice of meditation. There are also a lot of apps that if you have a smartphone, you can download an app and they walk you through, an exercise that takes you to a calmer environment. Sometimes it's just breathing. Sometimes it's taking you on a walk through a forest or thinking about positive things. So when you have 5-10 minutes, try downloading an app and just listening to it. And then the next time, try practicing it a little bit. And the more you do it, the more regularly you practice the meditation exercises, the more easily it will become to stop in the moment and then breathe and practice a little bit of distancing from that situation. So you're not reacting instantaneously with just simply emotion. Another thing that we talked about is setting up a calm environment in your home. Sometimes I call that a safe place where you can just go to get away from the situation. As long as you've made sure your loved one is safe, you can step away and maybe meditate or just breathe or just relax for a couple of moments. That's beautiful self-care. What people don't understand is that self-care can be practiced. Meditation can be practiced. All of these things can be done in 5-minute, 10-minute increments. Respite care doesn't always mean you have to get away for 3 hours. It doesn't mean you have to get away at all. It doesn't mean it takes 8 hours, although that's wonderful. 8 hours, 24-hour respite is wonderful when it can be worked into your financial situation or the care for your loved one. But if you're not in a situation where you can do that, if you set up a place in your home that has a surrounding of things that bring you calm and peace. Maybe it's a picture of your family. Maybe it's a picture of a vacation you went on to the mountains or to the ocean, and then put a candle in there, or something that has that scent of that area. Try to answer to all of your senses, smell, touch, visual, so that you can go in there and just get away. And I tell people, everybody doesn't have an extra room that you can set up, but you might have a master bathroom that you can decorate in that space that makes you feel calm and happy, or a walk-in closet, or even a corner of your living room that you can set up to make look like a peaceful environment that'll bring you back to a safe place. And then, of course, lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about journaling, because I'm a therapeutic writing instructor, and I think that journaling is very good and very helpful for people when you're in a stressful environment. A lot of times the reactions that we have are not based on the situation in the moment, but they're a trigger to something that may have happened in the past. And if you understand what that is, it helps you react in a different way. It helps you understand the situation more clearly. So the journaling technique that we used in last week's CAREthartic Conversation was just a 5-minute sprint. Journaling doesn't have to be something that you do for a long period of time. 5 minutes is usually all you need with a good prompt. So the prompt that we used was mindfulness feels. What does it feel like to you? In the beginning, when you heard me say mindfulness, you might have thought, yeah, right, stop and take a breath. When do I have a minute to even do that in my day-to-day caregiving life? But when you practice it and understand why you're objecting to it, what is it about it that feels foreign, it helps you better identify ways to practice it. So if you sit down and use this prompt, mindfulness feels, and write for 5 minutes, wait for that timer, set a timer, and then wait for the timer as you're writing to go off. Once the timer does go off, finish your sentence and stop. Read what you wrote, and then write for 2 more minutes, starting with, reading this, I feel. And hopefully those exercises will help you come to a calmer place. I hope to see you next month in our CAREthartic Conversations. And if you need a place for prompts or somewhere to go, check out my Facebook page at Care Partners Resource, or go to my website, carepartnersresource.com. Thank you so much for checking in today, and I look forward to seeing you next month. And until then, take good care.